With secrets unraveling and tension rising, Bernard was no longer just a silent observer, he was now caught in the fire he lit. Welcome to part 3 of this intriguing story. Chief Donald's mansion glowed under golden lights. Outside, luxury cars lined the driveway. Inside, waiters in black and white moved swiftly, balancing trays of drinks and appetizers. Amanda stepped out of her car, glittering in a green lace gown, heels clicking with confidence. Ella followed shortly, wearing a red sequin dress, beaming like a queen. Tonight is our night, Ella whispered. Amanda winked. Let the future Mrs. Donald shine. Sandra, in a modest blue gown, stepped out of a taxi and quietly walked into the mansion. No crowd followed her. No cameras flashed. But her heart thudded with something neither Amanda nor Ella had, peace. The dining hall was majestic. A long table with white roses stretched across the center. Chief Donald sat at the head, his face unreadable. Bernard sat beside him, dressed elegantly, calm yet alert. Guest whispered, sensing something important was about to unfold. Amanda and Ella sat on opposite ends, giggling and waving at some board members who already looked uncomfortable. Sandra sat closer to Bernard, quietly observing. Tension sizzled beneath the surface. Chief Donald stood up and tapped his wine glass gently. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for honoring this last-minute invitation. All eyes turned to him. We have gathered to celebrate something special. But first, he glanced at Bernard, let's reveal something more important, truth. A large screen behind the table lit up. The footage began to play. Amanda's voice echoed through the speakers. Let's delete everything. Then Ella's. Once it's out there, Bernard can't go back. The room fell silent. Guests turned, horrified, as they watched Amanda and Ella plot and tamper with evidence. Another clip played, Amanda handing money to the IT guy. Then footage of Ella bribing a makeup artist to leak fake rumors about Sandra. By the end of the video, the once proud and smug duo looked like wilted flowers under a scorching sun. Amanda gasped, face pale. Ella looked like she would faint. Chief Donald's voice thundered. This is what greed looks like. This is what deceit sounds like. Amanda tried to speak. Sir, it's not what it looks like. Enough. Chief Donald shouted, slamming his palm on the table. You insulted my family. You mocked my staff. You plotted behind closed doors. Do you think I want such disgrace as daughters-in-law? Ella rose, trembling. Sir, please. Bernard stood. You mocked me when I wore a guard's uniform. Called me dirty. A fool. But today, you sit here pretending to be worthy. He walked over to Sandra and took her hand. But the one you laughed at, she showed kindness when no one was watching. She respected the poor, gave without asking. And never chased wealth. The crowd murmured in admiration. Amanda and Ella were escorted out silently by guards. The board members and guests clapped as Bernard and Sandra stood side by side. Chief Donald smiled for the first time that evening. My son has chosen well. He turned to the guests. Tonight, we eat. Not just to celebrate, but to learn. May we all remember, who a person is when no one is watching, is who they truly are. As waiters served food and music floated through the air, Sandra leaned toward Bernard and whispered. Was this your plan all along? Bernard grinned. It started with a uniform, but it ends with truth. Back at the hotel, Amanda smashed her phone in rage. We're not done yet. If I go down, I'm dragging someone with me. Ella sat in the corner, silent, clutching something in her bag. A birth certificate with a name crossed out, and another name added in handwriting. She stared at it. And whispered, let's see how perfect they still think he is, when the real secret comes out. The dinner at Chief Donald's mansion had ended in grand applause. Sandra was glowing, seated beside Bernard as guests offered congratulations. Finally, Chief Donald said with a proud smile, my son has chosen a woman of value. Bernard squeezed Sandra's hand gently, his heart full. But at the edge of the room, his instincts twitched. Something didn't feel right. Meanwhile, in a dim hotel room across town, Amanda paced angrily. Her heels were off, her wig tossed aside. We were so close, she yelled. Ella sat quietly on the bed, looking at the worn birth certificate in her hand. Amanda frowned. Why are you holding that thing like it's gold? Ella didn't look up. Because it might be. Ella finally spoke. I found this in my mom's old safe. She worked for Chief Donald's late wife for years. Amanda rolled her eyes. And Ella handed over the certificate. Amanda read it aloud. Name, Bernard Ikena Okoye. Mother, Mrs. Grace Okoye. Amanda froze. What? That's not Chief Donald's surname. Ella nodded. It's not. That's because Bernard isn't his biological son. Amanda blinked. What are you saying? I'm saying, Ella whispered, Bernard was adopted. Amanda sat down slowly. A wicked grin spread across her face. Back at the mansion, Sandra helped clear some plates in the kitchen, old habits. One of the senior maids pulled her aside. My dear, you need to be careful. Sandra blinked. Why? The woman glanced around. You think everyone is happy for you? Those girls, especially Amanda, she doesn't let go easily. Sandra smiled faintly. I'm not afraid of her. The woman held her hand. It's not about fear. It's about being wise. In his room, Bernard looked at the old guard uniform hanging on his closet door. He smiled. You showed me what mattered, he muttered to himself. But then his phone vibrated. A message from an unknown number. Does Sandra know you're not really a Donald? Tick-tock. Bernard stared at the screen, heart pounding. The next morning, Sandra received a small envelope in front of her apartment. No name. No address. Inside, a printed copy of the birth certificate. She froze. Confused. Her phone rang. It was Amanda. Enjoying your new fairy tale. Amanda's voice oozed venom. Your prince may not be a prince after all. Sandra's hands shook. What is this about? Amanda chuckled. You really didn't know, did you? Ask your dear Bernard who he really is. Click. Sandra sat down, the room spinning. That evening, Bernard burst into his father's study, waving the printed birth certificate. Is this true? Chief Donald looked up slowly. He sighed. I was wondering when this would come out. So it's true? I'm not your son. You are my son in every way that matters, Chief Donald said calmly. Yes, you were adopted. After your parents died in an accident, I took you in. You were barely one. Bernard stared, lips parted. All these years. I didn't hide it to lie to you, Chief Donald said. I raised you like my own, because you are my own. Bernard sat outside in silence. Sandra arrived, holding the certificate. You knew, she asked gently. I just found out, Bernard whispered. This morning. Sandra sat beside him. Why didn't you tell me? I didn't even have time to process it myself. Sandra looked at him for a long moment. You're still the man I fell in love with, but do you still want me, knowing all this? Bernard looked into her eyes. Yes. Because you didn't love me because of my name, and now, neither do I. They embraced, both uncertain of the storm still coming. Meanwhile, Amanda was uploading the certificate on social media, smiling like a vulture. Within minutes, hashtags began trending. Hashtag fake prince. Hashtag Bernard the imposter. Hashtag Donald lied. And in the shadows, another secret watcher stirred, someone who knew more than even Amanda or Ella. A man in a brown jacket, watching the screen from a cyber cafe, muttered. So they finally found out, but they still don't know everything. He pulled out a dusty file titled Grace Okoye, Last Will and Testimony. It was chaos by morning. Every major blog in Abuja had posted the story. Chief Donald's son is adopted, see shocking birth certificate leaked online. Screenshots of the document Amanda uploaded had gone viral. Everyone at Donald Enterprises whispered. Staff gossiped in the hallways. Even customers stared awkwardly. Bernard stood in the boardroom, heart pounding, facing shareholders. This doesn't change my qualifications, he said. I am still the same person. I graduated with honors. I worked hard to build this name. A man at the far end cleared his throat. But you're not a Donald, sir. This company bears that name. Bernard looked down, then locked eyes with him. I may not be his blood, but I carry his legacy. At her workplace, Sandra couldn't even pour tea in peace. Her colleague whispered loudly, I heard her fiancé isn't who he says he is. Another added, if it was me, I'd cancel the engagement. Who wants to marry a man with a fake identity? Sandra overheard it all but said nothing. Later in the break room, she stared at her phone. No text from Bernard. No call. No explanation. Just silence. Amanda strutted into a high-end salon, sunglasses on, reporters chasing her. Miss Amanda, were you the one who exposed Bernard? She smiled coyly. I only believe the truth should be known. Do you still plan to marry into the Donald family? She removed her shades. If they'll still have me, why not? She winked. The cameras flashed. In the corner, Ella watched her, frowning. In a small, dusty office in Gaki, the man in the brown jacket opened the file labeled Grace Okoye, last will and testimony. He whispered, if only they knew what this document holds. Inside were photos, old ones, of a woman smiling, holding a baby. A man beside her wore a familiar face. The man shook his head. The truth about Bernard didn't end with adoption. He picked up his phone and called a number. It's time. Tell Chief Donald I'm ready to talk. That evening, Bernard returned to the mansion, his suit rumpled, eyes tired. Why didn't you tell me sooner? He asked, standing in front of Chief Donald. I was going to, the old man said. I just didn't know how. People think I'm a fraud. Even Sandra's gone quiet. Do you know what that feels like? Chief Donald stood. I loved you like a son. But the truth is, I may not have known the full story myself. Bernard blinked. What do you mean? Chief Donald took a deep breath. Someone called today. He says there's a will from your biological mother. Bernard's heart skipped. She left something behind. A truth. One that may rewrite everything. Later that night, the man in the brown jacket, Mr. Ibuka, arrived at Chief Donald's home. He opened the file slowly on the coffee table. This is Grace Okoye's handwriting, he said. She left this with me before she died. I worked with her. I promised her I would protect this until her son was ready. Chief Donald sat back, eyes wide. Bernard leaned forward. So what does it say? Ibuka handed him a sealed letter. Bernard tore it open carefully. My darling son Bernard. If you're reading this, it means you've learned the truth. I was forced to give you up not because I didn't love you, but because I feared for your life. Bernard looked up slowly. What does she mean? Ibuka said softly, your mother was afraid you'd be killed by someone close to her. Sandra scrolled through social media that night, tears threatening her eyes. Then she got a text from Bernard. I need you. I just discovered something, and it's bigger than anything I ever imagined. She replied with one word. Where? Back at the mansion, Bernard looked at Chief Donald. If my mother feared someone would harm me, then maybe someone still would. He didn't know Amanda was standing at the gate, listening. Her smile vanished. And in her hand, a key. To a drawer. That once belonged to Grace Okoye. The moonlight cast sharp shadows across Chief Donald's compound. Amanda waited until the lights in the house dimmed before slipping toward the backyard window, the same one she had used before when snooping. She reached into her purse and pulled out the key. Her fingers trembled slightly. She didn't understand why Grace Okoye's name kept coming up or why Chief Donald had once ordered her never to go near the old study room. But Amanda was never one to listen. She opened the back door quietly and tiptoed toward the old study. The drawer she'd seen Bernard open weeks ago, the one he locked back immediately, was now her target. She knelt, inserted the key, and with a faint click, it turned. Inside was an envelope. Another letter. Faded. Handwritten. If anything happens to me, this letter must find my son. The man who visits me every Tuesday, he is not who he claims to be. He wants Bernard to inherit, but only if he never knows the full truth. Grace Okoye. Amanda's eyes widened. Who's this man she's talking about? She flipped the page. There was a photograph. And when Amanda turned it over, the name scribbled on the back shook her. Raymond. At the same time, Bernard met Sandra at a quiet lounge on the outskirts of town. His face was pale, exhausted. I found out who my mother was, he said. Her name was Grace Okoye. Sandra looked at him in surprise. That name sounds familiar. She left me a letter. She said she feared for my life. Why would anyone want to harm you? Bernard sighed. That's what I'm trying to figure out. But someone named Raymond keeps coming up in all of this. Sandra leaned forward. Wait, the same Mr. Raymond that used to come to the company meetings. The same one, Bernard replied. And my father doesn't even fully trust him. He once told me Raymond was too ambitious. Sandra's expression darkened. Bernard. I think I saw Amanda with him a few times. Back at the company, Ella had reached her breaking point. Amanda's popularity online, the attention from the media, and Bernard's quiet distancing from both her and Precious were driving her mad. She burst into Chief Donald's office uninvited. I demand answers, she shouted. Chief Donald looked up. Come. To what, exactly? Why are you entertaining Amanda and not me? Precious and I have waited longer. We have been here since the beginning. Chief Donald stood. This is not a market, Ella. My son is not a prize. Well then, she said, narrowing her eyes, you should know Amanda is hiding something. And it concerns your late friend, Grace. That made Chief Donald sit up. What did you say? Check her room, Ella hissed. She has something. Something she stole. Later that night, Bernard went through another file Ibuka gave him. Among the papers was a small flash drive. Plugging it into his laptop, he watched a grainy video play. It was Grace Okoye, in a hospital gown, speaking directly to the camera. This is for my son, Bernard. My real name is not Grace. That was the name I used to hide. I used to work for the Donalds. I was. The video glitched. Bernard tapped the keyboard, heart racing. Raymond, he said he'd help me protect my child. But I overheard him on the phone. He plans to use my son for. The screen went black. Video corrupted. Bernard sat frozen. Sweat trickled down his back. Just then, his phone buzzed. It was a message from Amanda. We need to talk. It's about Raymond. I found something I shouldn't have. Bernard hesitated. He didn't trust her. But something told him if Amanda had seen what he saw, then she might be in danger too. Across town, Amanda sat in her room, clutching the photo and letter, unaware that someone stood right outside her door, listening. And holding a second copy of the photo. Raymond. Amanda locked her door and paced her room. The letter and photograph she found in Chief Donald's drawer lay on her bed. She had been staring at them for hours, heart pounding. Her instinct screamed danger. She reached for her phone and texted Bernard again. Please. Meet me at the cafe near Garden View Hotel. Tomorrow. Noon. It's urgent. She didn't expect a reply immediately. She just needed to stay safe until then. Suddenly, a knock. Soft. Measured. She froze. Amanda, it's me. The voice was low. Come. She crept to the door and peered through the peephole. Raymond. Panic surged. Are you alright? He asked gently. I heard you were sick. Can I come in? Amanda hesitated. Her breathing grew shallow. I am fine. I just want to rest. There was a long pause. Too long. Then, Raymond's voice returned, colder this time. You've been digging, haven't you? Amanda stepped back from the door, lips trembling. I don't know what you're talking about. Raymond leaned closer. Don't be foolish, Amanda. Some things are better left buried. And with that, he walked away. Amanda didn't sleep a wink that night. Meanwhile, at her mother's shop, Sandra packed a few baskets of fruits for delivery when a sleek black car pulled up. To her surprise, Chief Donald stepped out. Sandra's heart skipped. Good morning, sir. Morning, Sandra. May we talk? He looked serious. Not angry, just intense. They sat on a bench beside the shop. I've heard good things about you, he began. My son, he seems to think highly of you. Sandra looked down shyly. He's a good man. Chief Donald nodded. Do you think so, even if he had nothing? She blinked. Yes. I care about who he is, not what he has. A faint smile flickered on his lips, but it quickly faded. Then be careful, he said cryptically. This world is full of masks. Some wear it for love, some for power. And some, to hide their crimes. Sandra watched him walk back to his car, puzzled and disturbed. At Garden View Cafe, Amanda sat nervously in a corner booth. When Bernard arrived, his eyes scanned the area before sitting opposite her. She wasted no time. I found this. She handed him the photograph and letter. Bernard's eyes narrowed as he read. His lips pressed tightly together. Raymond, he said. She mentioned him in a letter I found too. Amanda leaned in. I think your mother knew something. Something big. Bernard nodded slowly. And Raymond is trying to bury it. Amanda hesitated, then added, I think he knows I found this. Bernard looked around sharply. Did you tell anyone else? No. Good. Keep it that way. But Bernard, she whispered. What if I'm next? Elsewhere, Ella sat with Precious, furiously scrolling through Instagram. Why is everyone talking about Sandra again? She snapped. What's so special about her? She probably bribed someone. I don't trust her humble act, Precious said. Let's finish her, Ella said. Before she finishes us. They plotted like sisters in crime. What they didn't know was that Bernard, with the help of his friend Ibuka, had planted someone inside the company to monitor their moves. Every conversation, every bribe attempt, was being recorded. That night, Bernard received a message from Ibuka. We've got something. A video. You need to see this. He clicked the attachment. On screen, Precious handing an envelope to a strange man. In the background, a voice said. Make sure she leaves. I don't care how. Bernard's expression turned stone cold. He picked up his phone and called Chief Donald. Dad, we need to talk. And we need to be very careful. I think someone in your circle is working with Raymond. And this is just the beginning. Meanwhile, Raymond watched them from his car, parked a few streets away. A smoke smile danced on his lips as he whispered. You think you're close, Bernard? You haven't even scratched the surface. Just when Bernard thought he had control, the truth slipped into the wrong hands. Sit back, relax and watch out for the last episode.